All right, so we're diving into college football today, but not just any players. We're talking the top players based on what they've actually done on the field, not just, preseason hype.
Yeah, forget those preseason rankings, right?
Okay.
We're talking about the guys who are lighting up the scoreboard right now, halfway through the season.
And let me tell you, getting deep into this recent ranking of the top 25 players has been wild.
Seriously, some real surprises this year.
Some shockers, actually. Yeah. So get ready, because we're about to drop some names you might not expect and maybe give you some trash talking ammo for your next watch party.
Yeah, and what's been really interesting is how many unexpected players are at the top this year, right? It's not just the big name programs anymore.
Okay, for instance, Nick Nash.
Right?
This guy leads the nation in receptions and receiving touchdowns for San Jose State.
San Jose State. It's crazy, right?
Who would have thought?
And here's the thing. He used to be their quarterback.
Oh, come on.
I know. Talk about a total plot twist.
It's like the ultimate underdog story.
It really is. It shows you that adaptability, hard work in this sport, it can really, really pay off.
Big time. And he's not alone. How about Harold Perkins Jr. from Bowling Green? Tight end, right up there with the best of them, putting up insane receiving yards, breaking tackles like it's nothing. Have you seen this guy play?
Oh, yeah. He's a monster.
A beast.
What's impressive about Fannin is he's doing all of this against some really tough competition,
Right.
It's not like he's padding his stats against like weaker teams. He's proving himself week after week.
That's what separates, the good from the truly great players, right?
Yep.
And speaking of exceeding expectations, how about Indiana's quarterback, Curtis Rourke? Came in from Ohio and now look undefeated.
Yeah.
Did anybody see that coming?
I mean, to talk about exceeding expectations. But Rourke's success, it really highlights what the transfer portal has done to college football, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Completely changed the landscape. It's like players can actually find the right program for them now, reach their potential in a way they couldn't before.
Yeah, it's like this whole other level of free agency now in college football.
Totally.
Players have like so much more power now. But okay, enough about offense for a sec. Let's flip the field, talk defense. Now, if you're just like quickly looking at the stat sheet this year, you might be wondering, who is this Noel Williams guy and why does everyone keep throwing interceptions to him?
Right.
Seriously.
I mean, an interception per game, it's unheard of in college football. You know what I mean? You just don't see that kind of consistency.
Almost makes you wonder if it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Like a reverse psychology thing.
Maybe. But seriously, he's single-handedly changing how offenses have to approach Cal's entire defense. Like, quarterbacks have got to be terrified to even look in his direction.
Oh, I bet. Imagine having him on your fantasy team, though. Guaranteed points every week.
Right.
But he's not the only defensive star making a name for himself this year.
No, not even close.
Penn State's got Abdul Carter. This guy is an absolute game wrecker on that defensive line. Did you see that Illinois game?
Oh, yeah. Talk about a masterclass in defensive playmaking. Carter's just, he's everywhere.
Everywhere.
And that's what makes him so dangerous, right? That versatility. He can line up anywhere on the field and just completely mess up an offense's entire game plan.
As an offensive coordinator, you'd need like 5 different game plans just to account for him. You just don't know where he's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And for a quarterback, I mean, that's got to be terrifying.
Talk about pressure.
Right. And then you've got Deion Walker out there for Kentucky, 345-pound defensive tackle, and he's making tackles all over the field.
I know, like a runaway refrigerator out there. But on a serious note, if you look at it, this is part of a bigger trend in football, wouldn't you say? Defensive players, they got to be more agile now, more versatile.
It's for sure.
It's not just about, staying in your lane anymore. These guys are athletes. They can do it all.
Yeah, like heat-seeking missiles disguised as giant teddy bears.
That's one way to put it.
But it's not just these like under-the-radar guys who are killing it this year. We've got some big names, some familiar faces, and let me tell you, they are exceeding even the craziest expectations.
It's easy to get hyped up in the preseason, right? But to actually live up to that hype on the field, totally different ballgame.
Totally. And these guys, they're not just living up to the hype, they're blowing it out of the water. For starters, how about Alabama's quarterback, Jalen Milroe? This guy is a dual threat nightmare, throwing touchdowns, running for touchdowns, just unstoppable.
What's interesting about Milroe, though, is, he's had to deal with some adversity recently, right? Those turnovers.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from that in these next few weeks. That's the real test for a quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. You learn way more from your losses than you do your wins.
100%.
Speaking of contenders, though, Michigan fans got to be feeling pretty good about Will Johnson, their cornerback. Not only is he shutting down receivers left and right, but he's running those interceptions back for touchdowns.
2 interceptions this season, both pick sixes. I mean, that's not just good defense. That's a knack for game-changing plays.
The guy's got a nose for the end zone, I swear.
He's a ball magnet.
And you can't forget about Ohio State's freshman phenom, Jeremiah Smith. People are already comparing him to Marvin Harrison Jr.
And those comparisons, not even height, really. His stats are right there with what Harrison was doing his freshman year.
It's in the genes, I guess. But seriously, those are crazy good numbers, especially in the Buckeyes offense.
That's saying something for sure.
They don't rebuild in Columbus. They just, reload.
Facts.
Now back to the transfer portal for a sec, because we got to talk about what Derek Harmon at Oregon and Nick Scarton at Texas A&M are doing. I mean, these guys are completely transforming their team's defenses.
It really shows you how strategic college football has become, right?
Oh, yeah.
These programs knew they had weaknesses on defense, and they went out and used the transfer portal to fix them. Genius.
And these guys aren't just filling in. They're making a statement every single play. Harmon leads the nation in quarterback pressures. That means he's in the quarterback's face practically every play. Mm-hmm. And Scarton, this guy's turned the Aggies defense into a brick wall. Unbelievable.
Total difference makers.
Right. It's crazy what a difference a year can make.
No doubt.
All right, get ready, because we're about to get into the top tier of this list. The absolute best of the best.
The cream of the crop.
The Heisman hopefuls, the future NFL stars. You ready for this?
So do it.
All right. There's no better place to start than with Alabama's freshman wide receiver, Ryan Williams. This kid is already shattering records left and right.
Did Nick Saban know what he was unleashing on college football when he recruited this kid? I mean, that game-winning catch against Georgia, instant legend.
Literal chills.
I'm telling you, he's making a case for the most impactful freshman receiver in Alabama history, and that's saying something.
And the scary part is, he's just getting started. Can you imagine being like an 18-year-old cornerback trying to cover this guy? I don't know, fake an injury, I think. Too much pressure.
I don't blame you.
Okay, now let's talk about the rock, the protector, the immovable object. Will Campbell, LSU's offensive tackle.
This guy's a wall. To not give up a single sack all season, that's insane.
It's unheard of, practically.
It speaks to his, technique, his discipline. He's a technician out there, giving his quarterback all the time in the world.
If you were an NFL GM, wouldn't you want this guy protecting your franchise quarterback?
100%. Sign me up.
Right. And speaking of quarterbacks living the dream, how about Oregon's Dylan Gabriel? Did you see that Ohio State game? Carved him up.
Masterclass in quarterback play. What I love about Gabriel is his efficiency.
Yeah, he makes it look easy.
Doesn't try to do too much, just takes what the defense gives him, makes the smart plays. That's a true leader on the field right there.
And now he's got the Ducks looking like serious playoff contenders.
They're legit.
All right, and then there's Kelvin Banks Jr., Texas's offensive lineman. Are we looking at the best offensive lineman in the country? Maybe.
He's in the conversation for sure. I mean, 1 pressure allowed all season. That's ridiculous.
NFL scouts are drooling over this guy.
As they should be.
He's going to be a top 5 draft pick, no doubt.
I'll put that down.
But you know who else is turning heads? Colorado's Travis Hunter. This guy's playing both ways. And I'm not talking about just being on the field for offense and defense. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's playing receiver A&D, defensive back at an elite level. I'm talking must-see TV every time he steps on the field.
He's a unicorn, man. You just don't see that in today's game.
A true unicorn.
Really?
And fun to watch, right?
Oh, yeah. He brings the excitement, that's for sure. Every time he touches the ball, you're like, what's he going to do next?
You never know. Offense or defense could be anything.
That's what makes him so special.
Speaking of exciting players, Cam Ward, Miami. What do you think about this kid?
Oh, Cam Ward, he's got that it factor, he's got that swagger, that belief, and it spreads to the whole team. Miami's like a whole different team with him at quarterback.
Eating comebacks, putting up video game numbers, he's brought that Miami swagger back.
No doubt. With him at the helm, they're looking like a real title contender.
You ready for number 1? The top dog.
Get me with it.
This guy is, he's unbelievable. Ashton Jeanty, Boise State. This running back is a human highlight reel, averaging almost 10 yards per carry.
10 yards every time he touches the ball.
It's insane.
He's on pace to break Barry Sanders' single-season rushing record.
Get out of here.
I'm serious.
That's unheard of.
The guy's unstoppable.
It's crazy, right? Remember at the beginning when I said this list was going to have some shockers? Who had San Jose State's receiver leading the nation in touchdowns at the halfway point,
Right.
who had Indiana, with a transfer quarterback no less, undefeated. This season has been wild.
Absolutely wild.
And that's why we love college football, right?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's unpredictable, it's passionate, it keeps you on the edge of your seat every single week.
Every single play.
So there you have it, folks. The midseason stars who are turning heads, defying expectations, and making this 2024 season 1 for the books. But as we head into the second half of the season, here's the big question. Which of these breakout stars can sustain this incredible momentum, cement their place among the elite? And which ones will, fade back into the background?
Only time will tell.
That's for you to think about as we watch these guys battle it out on the field these next few weeks.